Fast fashion is a huge sector of the fashion industry, and its business model relies on cheap, rapid, and large-scale production of low-quality clothing. While affordable prices and trendy items are extremely attractive, the environmental and social impacts of the industry are often overlooked. But how can we combat the consumerism that fast fashion perpetuates?
I think in fashion, as we know, it is one of the most globally polluting industries. The most sustainable that you can be is actually just to not shop at all.
That was 22-year-old Megan Chen, a creative designer and climate activist from Stanford University. In her personal life, she combines her interests in fashion and sustainability to get creative with secondhand shopping. In terms of affordability, thrift stores like Goodwill offer people the opportunity to shop for all kinds of clothes at a price point they can afford. 29-year-old Faliha Giwani works at a Goodwill in Houston and supports secondhand shopping.
Secondhand shopping sometimes is saving people a lot more money than firsthand shopping, just because they might have multiple kids or college students who probably can't afford very high-end expensive stuff right off the bat.
And, unlike fast fashion, thrifting allows people to showcase their individuality through self-expression and intentional dressing.
I've been just starting to get into customizing and thrift flipping a lot of the pieces I have that I don't get to wear as much. I think that's also a really cool way to make clothes feel a little bit more individual and me. And I think I look for the materials that it's actually made of, and so trying to, as much as I can, use natural fibers, so cotton or linen or any other things that I feel would last a little bit longer. And from there I look for styles and silhouettes and colors that I really like and really resonate with, and that can depend a lot on the season and obviously what pieces I already have.
The gentrification of secondhand shopping is a trend we've observed over the last decade. 24-year-old Noah, a PhD student at Stanford University, has 10 years of experience in the vintage resale industry, and he shares his perspectives on how reselling can still combat consumerism.
One other point of contention that resellers often get is you're taking away clothes from those who actually need it. I think that point of waste is really important, because if these clothes don't get purchased, they just end up going to landfills anyway. And there definitely is enough clothes in the bins to go around for everyone.
Resellers typically source clothing from places like the Goodwill outlets, where consumers can pay for clothing by the pound and give them a chance at a second life. However, not everything from places like Goodwill stores and outlets gets sold.
There are some things that are just not reusable, like undergarments, for example, or something that has a person's blood on it, and even though it's washed, you see stains.
If something isn't sold at a Goodwill outlet, it's sent to a Goodwill auction or a Goodwill 99-cent store. After, Goodwill sends it abroad. Kathy Walsh, who works for textile recycling organization Smart, said her company sells the clothes in international markets as rags or filler for furniture filling, and 5% of all donations eventually end up in landfills. The resale market is also becoming more saturated, and there might be an edge of competitiveness on site.
I think the first thing that you notice when you go to the bins is there are a lot of resellers there, and typically they all know each other, whether this is through the fact that they sell at the same markets, or maybe they're in the same consignment shops. People could be really territorial. I think people try to be friendly, but at the end of the day, it is a business. A lot of people are trying to get the clothes before you, right? Because it is a first come, first served basis.
Oftentimes, there is a line that forms outside before the doors officially open.
That's how it is every day. Even on a slow Monday morning, there could be a long line of people. At the end of the night, the bins rotate, and so there's a new batch of clothes ready in the morning, and people are just trying to strike gold as fast as possible.
Whether you are in the secondhand industry as a consumer or a seller, it is important to revisit your reasons for doing so.
At the end of the day, I think you shouldn't forget that one of your major motives for thrifting should be about sustainability and not necessarily profit margining. I feel like if you put profits over sustainability, you kind of don't really differentiate yourself too much from fast fashion in terms of your motives.